Welcome back to episode 56 of the ATD Best Baseball Podcast. I can't even get it out. Full house today. Shohei Ohtani is a Los Angeles Dodger. He is with the real team in Los Angeles. And before we get started, I just got one thing to do.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Yes! Shohei Ohtani is a Dodger. Wow, I thought there was going to be more confetti in there. Where's the rest of it? No? Okay. Well, you get the idea. It is a celebratory day. Shohei Ohtani is a Dodger. I'm going to be saying that a lot. Of course, we got Juan Soto too. We'll talk about that. But before we get into the big topic at hand, how are you guys doing today?
I'm doing good. I don't think I'm doing as good as Melo, but his team just signed a generational all-time talent, so I don't know how I could top that. Happy for him. Happy for Kyle. He got his guy. I'm sort of stuck here in no man's land. We got our guy a little bit earlier, but no big moves since. So, Kyle, you still got to be happy. You're still celebrating Juan Soto, right?
Yeah, listen, boys. I just want to come on here and say, now listen. Yes, Shohei Ohtani is a Dodger, but something that has a little bit of a better ring to it. Juan Soto, you are a New York Yankee. It flows off the tongue a little bit better than Ohtani is a Dodger. I'm sorry, it does. We got our guy. We got our generational talent, and he's here. Oh, man, I couldn't be better. I couldn't.
All right. I mean, there's two things we're going to talk about on this show. It's going to be Shohei Ohtani, and it's going to be Juan Soto. We're just going to dive into Shohei Ohtani because Melo can't keep his mouth shut about it. He wants to talk about it all episode long. So, honestly, Melo, take it away. Lead this conversation wherever you want to go. We can talk about Shohei's dog if you want to. We can talk about the minute you heard that he signed. We could talk about his contract. We could talk about the deferrals. We'll talk about all of it, but it's just you get to lead the direction of the conversation today.
I said this in the video that I put out Saturday. When the Dodgers want somebody, they go get him. Mookie Betts, you traded for him in 2020, and before he even played a game for you, gave him a contract extension. Stole Freddie Freeman away from Atlanta. And now you get the best player in the world. The things that the Dodgers didn't do the last two off seasons paid off on Saturday. Not re-signing Trey Turner. Not going out there and getting other starting pitchers. Maybe not go getting another bat. Not bringing back Cody Bellinger. All things like that. It was to get under the luxury tax and have the big check ready for Ohtani this offseason. And you saw it that the Dodgers were not going to be denied. And they weren't. So I'm super proud of Andrew Friedman, Brandon Gomez, and the entire Dodgers front office. They had one goal in mind this offseason. The main goal was to get Shohei Ohtani in a Dodgers uniform, and they did just that. We finally get to see Shohei Ohtani on a winning team. Those were 6 long, brutal years in Anaheim. Thank God that's over with. I was just sitting in my room getting ready to watch some Army-Navy, and then I see the phone pop up, and it's Shams. I'm like, Shams, the NBA dude. Like, he doesn't break baseball news. What does he know? And then Passan immediately said, Ohtani, Instagram, Dodgers. And then I refreshed it, and from the beginning, I was like, no way. I'm like, this can't be real. I didn't think this was how it was going to go. And then I kept reading it. I'm like, yep, this is legit. And then the number came out, 10 years, $700 million, which I know you guys got some thoughts about that. We'll get to that. Just hearing that high that I had for like an hour after Shohei Ohtani signed with my team, you can't replicate that. That's better than anything I've never, a female has never made me feel that good. Let me say that out of the gate. You can't replicate that. I was receiving messages from friends, from family saying, "Is it true we got him?" I'm like, "Yes, we got him. We got the best guy in the world." And unbelievable. And I'm happy with Otani for the next 10 years. He's in a Dodger uniform. Dodger Stadium's going to be crazy next year. Just the dream of winning another World Series and hopefully multiple World Series in this run with him, it came back Saturday. And that dream that I had of winning a World Series, that honestly I hadn't felt like that in 2 years because I got embarrassed both years. And that's why shout out again to the front office, because they realize we've been embarrassed the last 2 years in the postseason. We need to change something. Now, I thought they were going to do that with a change of manager. Didn't think they would, but I thought maybe it'd be a possibility. They said, we are not going to be denied with Shohei Ohtani. It's almost the perfect storm. Now, listen, Shohei Ohtani's got to perform like everybody else, and he's going to be held to the same high standard that I give to Freddie Freeman and to Mookie Betts. But hopefully, the lack of postseason success that the Dodgers have had in the last 2-3 years, hopefully Shohei Ohtani is the key that unlocks it. Because we've seen it. Dodgers play tight. They grip the bat a little harder. They're playing with a little bit more. They're playing not loose like they do during the regular season. And Shohei Ohtani is dreaming of this. He wants to win. He just wants to be on a competitive team and have a chance to win a World Series every year. And he's going to get a taste of that next year. Incredible signing, historic day. I put this in my article. A match made in heaven, blue heaven. And Los Angeles is the city of champions, and it's the city of stars. And they got the biggest one of them all, Shohei Ohtani.
Speaking of stars, you said the biggest star of them all signs the 10-year, $700 million deal, biggest contract in North American sports history, beats out guys like Patrick Mahomes, beats out Messi when he just signed with Miami,
Trout
beats out Trout over $500 million. I think Mahomes is the only closest NFL player. NBA players don't come anywhere close because of their max contracts, but signed more just this contract than LeBron's made in his whole career, just off of contracts. But the only thing comparable to Shohei's contracts are international soccer stars. Mbappe, Ronaldo, Messi. These are the only guys touching deals even close to this big. I mean, they are getting this big. But this is unprecedented. Shohei Ohtani is a world superstar now. He's one of the biggest stars in sports, and he just signed for one of the biggest deals in sports history. Now, did the Blue Jays jack up the price at all? They might have, because like Bello said, I don't know if he said it in that little monologue he had there, but there was a second on Friday where we all thought that Shohei was going to be a Blue Jay. And rumors were floating that he was on a private plane from Anaheim to Toronto. Well, it did turn out to be BS because it was actually another star. It was a Shark Tank star, Robert Herjavec, on the plane to Toronto, which was kind of funny. You had people at the airport waiting there, taking pictures of him getting off the plane, hoping it would be Shohei. Nope, wasn't not meant to be. John Morosi, trending down a little bit. We lost a little trust in you.
Biggest loser of the offseason goes to JP Morosi.
Yes. I mean, we had a lot of faith in you, and you kind of got, I mean, whatever your sources were, whether they were sources or you're just making this up because you wanted to be first, guess we'll never know. You did come out and apologize for it, so a little, we appreciate that at least. But yeah, wild Wild, wild, wild. Congrats to the Dodgers. And this is, like Melo said, this is what they've been saving up for the last 2 off seasons. It was meant to be. The stars aligned. It was never going to be anybody else. It was always the Dodgers. And it ended up being the Dodgers, even after a moment of inconsistency. So, yeah, I'm sure we'll get into contract deferrals after this, but just initial thoughts, Kyle.
Yeah,
He
so
loves it.
I do. I 100% do because, as you mentioned on Friday, we all thought he was a Blue Jay. That's not good for me. That's not what I wanted. I stuck with it though, and something didn't seem right. Okay, like I get that the Blue Jays have the money. They are in. I mean, they got a whole country by themselves. Rogers Center kind of looks like the Tokyo Dome that he used to play in. Well, whatever it is, I don't know, but something didn't feel right to me, and I still thought he was going to be a Dodger. But this means a big thing for me, right? Number one, you get him out of the American League. I love that because now Judge's 61 record is safe,
Oh,
at least for another year.
Now, Jordan's coming for that.
Okay. Number two, he gets out of my division, right? And number three, the only time that we're going to meet him, if it's ever important, is in the World Series. So I'm 100% stoked that he is out of the American League. I'm loving it, and I think it makes it a little bit sweeter for me because you know what? At least one of my 2 guys got Ohtani. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy for you, Melo. Yeah, I mean, I think it's exciting times in baseball, really.
Melo?
don't tell that to any Braves fan. Don't tell that to any Braves fan. Yeah,
the monetary side of things.
fine with me.
All of it?
It's a long time from now.
$700 million across 10 years, but during those 10 years, he's only going to be taking $2 million salary per year. Just found that out today, about an hour and a half ago.
What a guy!
What a guy is one way to look at it. We'll get into the other ways to look at it. We might have some varying opinions on this show. So, Melo, you're all good with that, not just because he signed with the Dodgers.
I mean, listen, I'm sure in 10 years it's going to bother me. But if you win now and get 1 or 2 couple World Series out of it, I'm not going to remember. I'm not going to remember that 10 years. What I'm going to remember when this contract is over, hopefully Shohei Ohtani is a Dodger Hall of Famer. He brought us multiple World Series. He was worth it. And he put us in a situation to where we can still have money to spend now. That's the way I feel about it. I like it. To me, it's just, I'm like I said from the beginning, Ohtani just wants to win, which I hope the Angel fans heard that loud and clear because apparently in July when I said that, they thought I was crazy. I'm fine with it. It's not my money.
That's true.
I hope the Dodgers are prepared, though, in 2034 to start paying him all this money.
Kyle?
So from Ohtani's standpoint, I get it, right? He wants to win. He wants to allocate that money towards getting competitive teammates who are going to make this Dodger team better. It all makes sense, right? As a baseball fan, it doesn't. And what I don't like about this is it's kind of cheating the system. It's finding a loophole and using it towards your advantage. But here's another thing. How many teams in the league can do this? Right? That's what I want to look at. Because, yes, the big market teams. And as a Yankee fan, shit, I would be stoked if the Yankees came out tomorrow and said we've extended Juan Soto $550 million for 15 years and it's all deferred money. Because guess what? Now that gives them the opportunity to go get a Yamamoto, just like Shohei put the Dodgers in place for, But it doesn't feel right to me. It feels like it's cheating the system, and I feel like something needs to be done about it because my hope is that it doesn't ruin the game, because I don't know how many more contracts we're going to see like this. But in my mind, I'm going to think we're going to see a few, because the trajectory of these contracts, the value is only going to go up. I thought that last year when Judge extended for 360. Now that looks like pocket change compared to what the hell Otani just got. So I understand it completely, but I don't think it's good for the game to continue this. That's the part that I don't like, because is there a Kansas City Royals team that can do this? Is there a Pittsburgh Pirates? Even Baltimore Orioles? The Orioles are a very competitive team right now. They could never do something like this. Their market's not big enough, and listen, I'm also somebody who's not in favor of a salary cap in the league. I'm not. But I feel like the CBA kind of needs to do something about this, and I'm going to tell you one thing. I would not be shocked if it's a topic that comes up in the next CBA agreement, because it just doesn't feel right to me. I don't think it's quote-unquote fair to all these other teams. But hey, you know what? Good for Shohei. I'll say that. I think he's a damn good teammate for this. It shows the kind of person that he is. You know, he wants to win. He wants to bring his club all these different guys. But at the same time, I'm going to look at it as a baseball fan and say to myself that I don't think it's right for the game. I'm not going to say it's ruining the game, because it's only one contract. But if we see more of it, that's when the waters get a little murky. And like I said, I could very well see this being an issue or a topic at hand during the next CBA agreement.
Deferring money's not an issue. I mean, we've seen it before. Obviously, we all know Bobby Bonilla Day, and we celebrate that every year, especially in the NL East. We love to celebrate that. But there's plenty of contracts that look like that. There's Chris Davis Day every year where the Orioles continue to pay him a nice sum of money. Ken Griffey Jr. is still getting paid by the Reds each season. There's quite a few numerous contracts that look like this that are getting deferred. But for $680 million of your $700 million deal to get deferred is bonkers. Now, listen, is part of that me? Would I be more a fan of it if the Phillies would have did this and like would have been like, oh, we signed Bryce Harper and we deferred all of this money till later, so that way, you know, we can go out and sign. Well, I mean, we did sign Trey Turner anyway, but you know, add somebody else in there. I'd be happy about it then. But at the end of the day, it puts Major League Baseball at an interesting spot. You're constantly kicking the can down the road. Oh, we'll worry about that later. Worry about it later. Just keep worrying about it later. And I mean, sure, they're going to have to pay Shohei. There's no getting around that. It's not that they're getting out of the contract. They're not lessening his contract. They have to pay him the $700 million. It's just a matter of they're only making it count so much per year so that they can afford it per year, and so that they fall underneath it's not a hard salary cap, but a luxury tax. Now, Kyle, you said about not being a fan of the salary cap. I don't know. I'm not really a fan of it either. Of course, we're all big market teams, so we don't want the salary cap.
Can't have it both ways.
Yes, you can't have it both ways.
Pick
I
one.
understand that. I don't know if we have to pick one here between deferrals or salary cap. I just think this is a very extreme version of a deferral, and hopefully this isn't game-changing. I hope that this is just a one-off situation where this, of course, he's a unicorn. He's one of the best players ever and getting this massive deal, but that we don't see this for every $300 million superstar deal. Like in the coming years where, you know, whoever becomes a free agent for $300 million, like Juan Soto next year. Hopefully we don't see $500 million of his deal, if he gets 500, be deferred in contracts, and he only takes $5 million a year, you know, whatever it is. I hope it doesn't get to that point, that this is a one-off situation and this isn't just as a whole what Major League Baseball picks up going forward.
Yes, and real quick, I do want to add one more thing. This makes the whole, like, okay, so MLB put a bigger luxury tax thing. They called it the Cohen tax in the last CBA. It makes it look like a joke now. is what it does. Because what good does it do, right? Because if you defer all this money, from one report I heard he's making $28 million this next season. That's going to go towards the luxury tax. But I also heard another report that he's going to make 46. So I'm not entirely sure where it is. I'm not going to go on record and say that I know that. But I do know that he's going to be more. The luxury tax is going to. The Dodgers luxury tax is going to be more than the $2 million that he's making. So, but even still, over 10 years at $700 million, the easy math there would say he's making $70 million a year, right? So how the hell do we go from 70 million all the way down to 28 or all the way down to 46? Because now, like I said, it's making this whole luxury tax thing look like an absolute joke, right? And that's another thing too, like, because if they're putting these plans in place, these taxes in place to try to balance out the competitiveness around the league, how the hell is that doing that when he's only making 28 when easy math tells you he should be making 70? That's also another thing that worries me, and I'm like I said, I'm sure that is another topic that is going to be talked about in the next CBA.
I mean, the way I see it is the Dodgers are the only one taking the risk here. They're the ones that have to worry about it. I get it. I understand. And to me, it's just, I don't know, getting in. I don't want to say it's cheating or it's unfair, but it's like you're just beating around the bush a little bit. That's the way I see it. You're getting out in front of it. We've never seen this before or anything like this before. We've seen it in the past, but not to this extent.
So, Mello, do you think you would have a different opinion on this if he signed elsewhere?
I think I would, because I know the Dodgers are going to spend anyways. Maybe I think the better question is if I was a fan of another team. But if you're asking me as a Dodger fan, I wouldn't feel any different. Okay. Because the Dodgers are still going to spend anyways.
I feel like a lot of the fans, and Kyle and I guess, are sort of the difference here. A lot of the fans who complain about this are small market teams, and they're saying, well, this isn't fair for us, which in a way you're right, but it's not the Dodgers' problem that you're a small market team, and B, they don't really care because they're trying to beat you every single day on the field, and they're going to use whatever means they can to beat you, whether that's advantages they can take advantage of in the CBA or lack thereof, because this isn't in the CBA, or just being able to have more money and outmuscle you. It's not their fault. They're going to do what they can to make the best possible deal for the Los Angeles Dodgers so that they can be them in a winning position the next couple seasons. So I don't put it against them for trying to do their best, but like Kyle said, I really hope this doesn't become the precedent and change the way that baseball contracts go in the future.
Yep.
That what we got?
It's just, I don't know. I don't have a problem with it. It's not your money. It's not your problem. Only problem is who's the hell's gonna have to give him that money when it's all said and done. That's the way I see it.
True. Now, before we move on to Juan Soto, I gotta ask. I've heard this question thrown around. I think a lot of the people at John Boy used it, but I'll ask: how many rings, or do the Dodgers have to get any rings in order for this deal to be justified, or to be considered? Oh, this is a good Shohei Ohtani tenure. Mello,
3. You have to get 3.
3 rings.
You have to get 3. You have to get 3.
3 rings in this 10-year span.
Yes, you have to get 3.
Wow.
If you're gonna give Ohtani this crazy amount of money, and if he's gonna defer a lot of it, so you can spend to get other players, you got to get 3. You got to get 3.
Okay, Kyle,
including next year. Let's start next year.
I don't think they have to win any. Not saying that that's going to be the case because I
I'll
do
kill
think
myself if we don't win any in this
no,
10-year
no,
window.
no, no, no. I think I think you guys will. But on the question, I don't think they have to win any. You have an ex Hall of Famer. You have a plaque in Cooperstown waiting for you with the LA Dodgers hat on it, right? Not to mention the marketability of this guy. They're gonna make that money back within the first year of their contracts. So
Okay, put the
But I
money
wanna
side.
win.
Put the money part aside. Then expectations wise,
expectations, they should be. I mean, I think it's NLCS every year or bust. I'm sorry, I really do. Um, I listen. Anything can happen in playoff baseball. We've seen it over the last few years. We totally get that. Um, but if you're looking at the contract for to be worth signing him and looking strictly on championships, I think you got to win at least two, at least.
I think that's the boat that I fall in too. Uh, one is expected, sort of. I think like you got
Yeah.
to get one, and this two is sort of like, yeah, that seems about right. You should get two in this time frame. Three could be asking a lot. I mean, just the way that baseball is, we don't see people get 3 rings in a 10-year span very often. I mean, it's happened, but it doesn't
There's a
happen
first
too
for
often.
everything.
Damn right it's happened.
There is okay. All right.
In
There is a
the 50s,
first for everything. Yeah.
90s.
So it's an interesting thing that we'll see going forward. How this pans out for the Dodgers. Shohei won't pitch a single ball in 2024. Who knows how good it'll be in
yeah, but he's going to go
2025,
out
though.
and hit you 45, 50 home runs.
Probably, yeah.
Worth it to me.
All right.
It became a problem once Shohei Ohtani signed with the Dodgers. If he would have signed with any other team, oh, it's great for baseball. Look at this. The minute he signed with the Dodgers, oh no, he's not worth the money. He's not even pitching next year. It becomes a huge problem. But because the minute he puts on a Dodger uniform, it becomes a big issue. Give me a break.
Love it. Juan Soto, though, he got lost in this whole Ohtani sweepstakes. So, Kyle, we got to have you have your moment to shine here.
Yeah, so going on to another move that once he puts on the jersey, it's going to upset the entire baseball world. Juan Soto to the New York Yankees. Oh, man, that sounds so good. Yeah, so obviously this was one of the main topics going into the offseason was the Yankees were completely linked to Juan Soto. Me personally, yeah, I joked about it, but I didn't think it was going to happen because the Yankees have not had it in them, right? They've tested the waters. Yes, I'm not going to discredit them from signing Cole, from signing Judge. I totally get it. But they've been reluctant on going all in. And I said it last year. I hope that they miss the playoffs. I hope that they have a terrible season. And guess what they did? In the worst in almost 30 years, by the way. I love that it happened looking back on it now because we have a generational talent of our own. Ted Williams, that kind of sounds pretty good too. Yeah, no, I mean this was a move that needed to be done. I'm a little pissed because I was expecting it because for a whole week we had that they were intensifying talks and this, that, and the other, and I didn't get the surprise that Melo got with Shohei. So I'm a little, upset about that, but other than that, no, the moment he puts on those pinstripes, I'm going to be excited. Listen, he's built for New York. He should be a Yankee for the rest of his career. I understand that this is technically it is a 1-year rental. I totally get that. But there is absolutely no reason why that man should never put on another jersey. I'm sorry. There's not. Him and Judge should be this duo in New York that we have been fiending for as Yankee fans. Because the number 2 to Aaron Judge has been Anthony Rizzo the last few years. That's not going to cut it. I'm sorry.
Big G.
Get me. No. Nah. He's going to be on his way out after Alex Verdugo outshines him next year. But anyway, listen, he's on my shit list. But anyway, I'm extremely excited. This is the kind of Yankee baseball we want to see. This needed to happen. I'm glad it did because this puts the Yankees in such a better position to actually succeed in the postseason for once. Um, yeah, I mean, go get pitching. That's all I got to say. Go get pitching, and then we'll talk about the Fall Classic. Then we'll talk about the big one.
It got to the point with the Juan Soto stuff that I don't know what Yankee fans would have done if he didn't become a Yankee and show up to spring training in a Yankee uniform, because from the beginning it was just hey, Juan Soto, Padres are having financial issues, they might have to cut payroll. Yankees seems like a perfect fit. It just started off like that, and then it quickly turned into this might actually happen, to this is going to happen, to it's only a matter of time when it's going to happen. And I don't know what would have happened if the Yankees didn't get Juan Soto this offseason. But again, a lot of like Shohei Ohtani, it just fits to me. Seeing Juan Soto in a Yankee uniform, it just fits. See, he's going to be mashing home runs in that small porch in right field. It seems right. And you hit it right on the head, Kyle. The Yankees, that should be his last team that he puts on a uniform with. He should not have to put on another jersey after this. And everybody was, complaining, oh, look at all that stuff they gave up for a 1-year rental. It's like, well, the whole point is to lock him down for basically the rest of his career. And I don't know how the Yankee payroll is, and I know there's still moves to make, but wouldn't it be crazy to me if the Yankees try to lock him down before the season started? I don't think that's out of the question. But perfect fit. The dude's going to embrace New York. Fans are going to love him. The splash move that the Yankee fans are waiting for, they got it. And I think everything, until the season starts, let's see what other moves the Yankees make. But for right now, Yankee fans are excited and they have some hope.
Yeah, no, 100%. And just one more thing here. Brian Cashman's job was really on the line. I fully expect that. I really do. And from what I've heard, and I'm going to give props to both Brian Cashman here. Yes, I'm on record saying this, by the way. I'm giving props to Brian Cashman. But I think I am a little bit more proud of Hal Steinbrenner, right? I'm going to tell you why. Last year, Aaron Judge, right? There was reports that he ain't coming back. But guess what? 3 a.m. phone call from Hal Steinbrenner himself to Aaron Judge. Brian Cashman was not the one who locked down that deal. It was Hal Steinbrenner. He brought back Judge, right? This offseason, they had a blueprint. And I fully 100% believe that Hal Steinbrenner called up Brian Cashman and said, look, if you don't get me Soto, your ass is gone. You are done, right? Hal said to Cash, do whatever the hell it takes to get Juan Soto in pinstripes and get it done. Cashman did it, but it was Hal's voice that got it done. I'm going to tell you one thing. I hope and pray that George's ghost was going around up in his office up there in the Bronx saying, go get Soto, right? This is back to the Yankee way. This is what fans want, and this is what fans need. This right here is what saved Brian Cashman's job, at least for right now, because we don't know what else is going to happen. Go get Yamamoto, and you got a whole lot more security. But anyway, I think Hal Steinbrenner did a phenomenal job here. He finally hiked up his damn pants and said, we're going to spend some fucking money. We are the New York Yankees, and we're going to get this done. And that's exactly what happened. And damn, does it feel good.
And you got one of your greatest players ever. Sorry, Matt. You got one of your greatest players ever at the All-Star game in Seattle saying, we got to go get this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Derek Jeter was like one of the first ones to say, go get Juan Soto.
Yep.
Love to see him in a Yankee uniform, and you got him.
Yep.
He's a perfect fit, honestly. We've seen all the jersey swaps of Juan Soto in a Yankee uniform, and it just looks great. It does. I'll say that as a Phillies fan, I'm not afraid. Ohtani in a Dodger uniform, good too. Honestly, I think Soto looks better in the Yankees pinstripes. I think that's true.
Yes.
If I had to choose one of the two, I think so. No offense, Mello. It's close
okay.
second. Ohtani looks good in the Dodgers. This is good for the Yankees, but you did half the job. All right, you traded for him. Now, don't you dare let him walk out of that building ever again. I mean, if you somehow manage to, you gave up all these prospects, whatever you want to say, 2 really good ones, some other prospects in there too. And Juan Soto is a 1-year rental, and he leaves, and you don't win the World Series this year. I mean, Brian Cashman's job is back out on that thin ice again. You gotta lock Juan Soto down.
I go ahead, Matt.
That's the end of the story. I mean, I don't care how much money it takes. You gave up the prospects to trade for him. Other than that, it's worthless. 1 year of Juan Soto. If this is how it works out, 1 year of Juan Soto and no World Series does not outweigh all the people that you gave up in return, in my opinion.
No, I 100% agree with you, Matt. And like you said, I'm going to reiterate, there's no reason why he should ever leave this building again. He should be a Yankee for the rest of his career. And the thing is I understand the prospects that you gave up, whatever it is. At the end of the day, though, this was a much-needed move, and I want nothing more than Hal Steinbrenner to open up his press conference, say we'd like to welcome Juan Soto to the New York Yankees, as well as extending him to a 15-year, $500 million contract. Just like Mookie Betts. I want him locked down for the next however many years before he even steps foot in that locker room. That's what needs to happen. And you know what? I understand he's a Boras client. Extensions really aren't
It probably
his
won't happen.
I get that. But even still, you do what you did with Judge. You treat him like Aaron Judge. He can go visit with whatever team he wants, but he knows damn well that he's got a home back here in New York that he's not going to want to leave. The fans are going to embrace him. This year is going to be a very good year for him. I think he's going to go out, have a phenomenal season, and the fans are going to back him up every step of the way. And right there is what's going to prove to him that he needs to stay a New York Yankee. And that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to embrace New York. I really do. It's hard for some players, Joey Gallo, for example. It's hard for some of these players to come over to New York or even Los Angeles, come over to these big markets and not really perform well. And guess what? The fans are going to chew you. That's just how it is. Soto embraces it. He's just like Aaron Judge. That's what's going to happen. And I think he's going to love it. And I do, as of right now, you can ask me at the end of next season. As of right now, I think he is going to be a Yankee for the rest of his career. But maybe I'm still on my high, whatever it is. But we'll see. But I would be willing to bet money on it that he's back in pinstripes.
Juan Soto's also he's only 25 years old, and it seems like he's been in part of half of the league already.
Yeah.
Been passed around more than an OnlyFans model. Jesus, man.
He's not, and the funny thing about that is he's so fucking good. Why hasn't he been locked down yet? That's what is
because he didn't want to stay with the Nationals because they weren't winning, and the Padres couldn't even afford to keep the lights on in that ballpark.
And here we go. And now this is where the Yankees step in and need to be the Yankees. 2 teams have already passed up on him long term. Come in here, show that you're the New York Yankees, lock his ass down. That's how it should be.
And quickly, on the other side of the Padres, I'm gonna give them some credit here, which you don't get very often. So enjoy it. They realized that they couldn't afford to keep this dude around, and they probably weren't gonna pay him at the end. And they got rid of him, and you got stuff back for him. That's what the Angels should have done this summer, but they didn't do that. They should have done that last year too. So I applaud the Padres for not being stupid like the Angels and getting something for this great player in Juan Soto. And hopefully those
Now,
guys work out.
that return could have been just a little bit bigger from the
Yes.
Yankees if you would have
Yeah.
traded him last year at the at the trade deadline. But I understand you were still holding out hope a little bit that those three big four guys could put it all together and, somehow pull you into a wild card spot. It was a little bit different than the Ohtani. I mean, the Angels were actually closer to a wild card spot than the Padres were at that point in the season. But either way, both probably could have got, Angels could have got something. Padres could have got more, most likely. But yeah, I got a question for both of you guys, and I think we'll probably put a bow on this. Have either of you purchased any Juan Soto or Shohei Ohtani memorabilia yet?
I'll be doing that next week. I'll be getting a jersey. Because if Shohei Ohtani is going to defer half of his money or more than half of his money to compete in these next couple of years, the least I can do is go buy a $360 jersey.
Kyle?
I purchased the shirt because I'm in a little bit of a different boat. He's technically only here a year. That's where I'm a little worried. I don't want to fork out the $350 that it's going to cost for the jersey and then him end up leaving, because the way the Yankees have gone over the last 15 years, a little bit iffy, So for me, I'm going to wait out on the jersey, but I'm going to tell you one thing. The minute he signs that extension, it's getting purchased. So yes, as of right now, it's just the jersey, but
okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
I'll get me a t-shirt too.
I know you guys both got newspapers to commemorate it, though. Mello has his on hand, 100%. Right?
Yes.
There we go.
Show business. And my article, too, you can find on aroundthediamondmedia.com.
There you go. It does fit nice. I like. I don't get me wrong. I like Shohei in the Dodgers uniform. I just think Juan Soto looks really good in the Yankees uniform too.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it.
It's okay. I thought Trey Turner looked great in the Nationals uniform.
Right. Come on. I've been nice to both of you guys all episode long, for the most part. I haven't gotten to talk about these guys at all. They haven't done anything other than brought Aaron Nola back, but
they've been quiet.
We'll see.
They'll do something.
Hopefully. Let's trade for Mike Trout now. Angels
there
don't
you
have
go.
anything else to do.
You sure you want that?
Not my money. I don't really care about prospects either.
Oh,
there you go. Not my money. Oh, I love it.
We've seen how prospects have panned out for the Phillies, so why not trade another number 1 overall pick to the Angels? Go ahead. I don't care. I think that's going to put a bow, though. Episode 56, absolutely massive episode, of course. So, again, thank you for that's right, watching, listening, and hopefully we'll probably come out with another episode. Well, maybe it'll be a little bit later. Next week. No, next week will be good. Next week will be good. But the week after that, Christmas week, might be a little bit later. We'll see how it goes. Get all your Christmas shopping in, buy all your Juan Soto jerseys and Shohei Ohtani jerseys and Aaron Nola and Bryce Harper jerseys. And yeah, we will see you again next week. Later.
Adios.